Hey, my name is Chandler Gray. I'm Collier's father.
Hey, my name is Haley Morgan Smith, and I am Collier's aunt.
Hey, I'm Addison. I'm Collier's sister.
Collier is 11 years old. He is super intelligent, very quirky kind of kid. Conversations you'd have with Collier are conversations that you would have with a high school kid. His vocabulary, things that he says, the things that he thinks about are just way above what you'd expect for a 12-year-old.
A lot of times I feel like Collier is just way smarter than I am, especially when I was 11 years old. He's just a brilliant, funny 11-year-old boy.
One day he came in and he had his pants on backwards. And I said, Collier, your pants are on backwards, go change them. And he said, no thanks, when they're like this I have butt pockets. So all the things that he did, he kind of just backed into being funny. But as he got older, he saw the power in entertaining people, making them laugh. And that was a great focal point for him. He always wanted to make people laugh, not necessarily be the center of attention, but to entertain them, to make them happy. On February 25th of 2015, Collier had an aneurysm, and that's kind of, with adults, it was something that we would refer to as a stroke. He was upstairs playing Minecraft with his neighbor, who was a couple of years younger than he is, and his neighbor came down and told his mom, Collier has a headache, he's crying. His mom went upstairs to check on him, and he was crying, and he said he had a headache. So she gave him some Tylenol and sent him to bed. An hour and a half later, he started screaming, and his mother went upstairs to check on him. And when she got upstairs and was talking to him, he was responsive, but he was not oriented. It was Wednesday, he thought it was Tuesday. He couldn't tell her what grade he was in, and he began to lose use of the right side of his face. His mother called 911. He was transported from his house in Rome to Floyd Medical Center. He was operated on by the staff there, Dr. John Cowan, and it was about a 2-hour procedure. And at the end of the procedure, Dr. Cowan came to speak to us, and really every question we got, the answer was, I don't know. It was just a completely freak thing, and Dr. Cowan stated that he had never seen this in an otherwise healthy 11-year-old boy. The one thing he could tell us was, if this had happened in an adult like we normally see a stroke, he would have about a 5% chance of survival. And we were allowed to stay in the recovery room with Collier because it was that scary, that questionable as to whether or not he was going to survive.
I can remember the week that Collier got sick and thinking nothing will ever be the same again. I don't know if Collier will ever be the same again. I don't know if our family will ever be the same again. And I dreaded talking to my brother, period. Like, I didn't know what I could say to him to ease any pain for him with his son, in a situation where we weren't really sure if he would live or not. And it was just a huge amount of all these different weights that everybody was just trying to figure out how to handle it. And at the end of the day, we found out very quickly that we had no control. We had no control of what was going on. The only source of hope or any control that we had was where we looked to.
This was something that was just beyond my ability to deal with from the very first day. And it was something that had to be placed in the hands of God. It was something that had to be, that was very simply a miracle that Collier even survived the first time.
I've been in the ministry for a really long time, and it's very easy to stand up in front of people and say, trust God. Just trust God, and God is good. And when you go through a situation like our family has been in the last several months, there are times where myself, and I know for the rest of my family, we've been in a place where all of us have gone, God, what is going on? Like, why would you allow something like this to happen? And what we figured out through that is that even in the worst of circumstances, that God has still been good. And God has still listened, and God has still walked us through. Even the days when we've been really mad at God and we've been really mad at our circumstances, He has still held our hand and walked us through this situation.
God has taken this disaster and has curved it and bent it and worked it to be a blessing, and it's not something that I would ever want for anybody else, and certainly don't want for myself and for my family. But good has come of it. Our reestablishment of faith, my reestablishment of faith, seeing our community around us rally and help out, in our church home to rally around us and support us has been just amazing. The prognosis today is really touch and go. The great thing about it is that with children, their brains are still wiring. We've seen amazing improvement since the day that this happened. He was in a coma for about 16 days, and today Collier laughs at jokes, he responds, loves to see his sister. He is still nonverbal and still has very, very limited use of his hands and arms. We are seeing some improvement through physical therapy at Scottish Rite. They are absolutely amazing.
I love my brother. I really want him to get better.
So Collier's Cause is a benefit concert that I'm producing. It's on September 19th. It'll be at the Cedar Sound Auditorium. Starts at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5. And a couple of my friends are going to be a part of it. Jason Crabb, who's with the Crabb family. He's a Grammy award-winning artist. He's awesome. He's going to be there. Jamie Grace, who's one of my great friends, she's going to be there. And then her sister, Morgan Harper Nichols, will be there. And then myself will be there as well. It's going to be this awesome concert. We'll have a silent auction with that. There will be a VIP meet and greet and eat with the artist, so you get to actually eat dinner with the artist. And it's just going to be an awesome, really cool, fun night of worship. And all of the proceeds that we get from the concert will go towards Collier's expenses. We want to be able to say to everybody that shows up and everybody that's a part of the concert, to say this: sometimes really bad things happen, but there is a God that loves us, who created the universe, and He gives us direct access to Him to pray, to cry, to yell sometimes, and He will walk you through whatever you're facing. And that's what Collier's Cause is about. We want to raise funds for Collier, yes, but more than anything, we want to point eyes to Jesus, and we want people to know that at the end of the day, when it seems like all hope is lost, there is the biggest source right there available to us. Doctors may not always have the answer. The bank may not always have the answer, but God will always have the answer. And so that's what Collier's Cause is about.
We've talked about doing things the Collier way. And I think a lot of times that's what God does as well. He doesn't always do the things the way that we think that He should. He may take you one place to another and you wind up exactly where He wants you to be. And a lot of times I think God does things the Collier way.